Good morning, good morning, good morning. Our fellow TSA warriors all over the world. I know we've got a packed out call today, which is very good. Today our call is going to be in several stages today. But my goal today was really to come on this morning before we really get into boot camp and address all of our TSAs, address our entire family. I hate calling us TSAs, but address our family. One thing about our family is that our family is international, multinational, all over the entire world. Right now, we've got family that has touched 182 countries, I believe. And my responsibility today is to come to you and give you the state of affairs from our perspective and what our responsibilities are. As we all know, we have a major challenge that has entered each and every one of our lives with the coronavirus or COVID-19. As much as it changes a whole lot of things, my goal is to share with you what our perspective is. Okay? We know that this is not a game. We know that it's very serious. We know that many people's lives have been affected and millions more will be affected. And from our perspective, I think everybody's life is going to go through some type of shift or some type of change. Okay. What we've done here at Ibüümerang is we had a meeting, several meetings, and yesterday was full of meetings. And not only meetings with our team, but meetings with other CEOs that I've had the opportunity to have in the entire network marketing world. I've spoken with a lot of other influential people around the business and the political realm as well, gathering as much information as possible and talking with some of the smartest and some of the sharpest people, just so that we can gather information and not only see things from our perspective, but also understand how things are actually taking place all over the world. Well, why do we do that? Okay. We do it, number one, because we have a responsibility, a major responsibility to those of you who follow us. And if my eyes get teary, it's not because I'm crying. We've got real bad allergies and I can feel them coming on right now, specifically with these lights. We've been hit with a tremendous amount of pollen over here, and I can just feel my eyes getting red as we speak right now. It just happens that way, but not because I'm overwhelmed with emotion. That's not the case. But anyway, as I was mentioning, we do it because we want it to be very smart. We wanted to operate from what we call a position of strength, be able to bring our family and have a place where we can actually be that source of information, that source of inspiration, and that source of education. We know that every Saturday morning, many of you religiously, you do whatever it is that your structure is in the morning, whether you grab your coffee and your blanket like Lori and sit back in your relaxed chair, whether you're on the way to work or whether you sit up and this becomes classroom time. But we do know that we have a following and we do have a platform. And I take that platform very responsibly so that we can actually do our parts as well. What we've done is made some adjustments in our office as well. We've made some adjustments not only in our office, but in some of the Ibüümerang philosophy. And my goal is to talk to you a little bit about those and some of the things that you can do so that you can provide the best level of protection for yourself and for your family. Guys, if one of you guys can bring me some tissue or something, please, if you don't mind. Some who are getting on right now is going to say, man, this guy's very emotional. My eyes are just like, there. I can feel them. They're swollen right now with pollen tears, okay? But at any rate, my goal wasn't to come on here and be overly serious. Yes, I am the CEO of Ibüümerang, but one of the things that I do know, thank you, appreciate that, okay. Mark, bring me a little bit more, because I'm going to drain this right here. This is going to be nothing. There we go. Not to be overly serious, but to be serious about what the address is, so that you know what our stance is. One of the things that we do know our responsibility is that we go out and we spread a message. One of the ways that we do business is that we do business online, which we're doing business today. We do business in small gatherings, and sometimes we do business in larger gatherings as well. With the coronavirus, we know that the way that it's actually spread is it's a community-based virus. Okay, it spreads just like the flu. So what does that mean? That means that, is life over? Well, absolutely not. Life is not over. Okay, but everyday life for every single one of us changes from this point on. Okay? And with every change comes an opportunity. I'll talk about the opportunities a little bit later. But some of the ways that we conduct business and some of the ways that we interact, not only with our business partners, but with our family members as well, just has to change, specifically at this moment right now. Why? Because we don't know everything about what coronavirus is. All we do know is what we've gotten from information from those experts, from doctors, or from people who are in your circle, or what we've all gotten from the news. And it's not my job to say which is credible, which is not, but it's my job to say, hey, listen, let's be responsible. I put out a message 2 days ago with the Diamonds on those of you who are still having meetings on what to do and how to conduct those meetings and build with the highest degree of responsibility. Normally in our meetings, when we do have them, we have our sign-ins, whereas we have our guest sign-in and we have name tags, or we write the names on the tags and we give them to the guests and we give them to the TSAs. I told them, hey, listen, guys, if you're having meetings, let's eliminate that step, because that's another step of people just cross communicating or eliminating the distance between people. Let's eliminate that step. Let's make sure that if you're going to have a meeting or a gathering, whether it's at your home or public place, that you have plenty of hand sanitizer that's there. Those of you who are going to be speaking on stage, set that example. And even though I know we have this major level of trust for one another, but we wanted to set even a better example of how we greet one another. As I just did with Mark and T. Gray. It's a better example of us from leadership to show you exactly what to do. And my greeting to Mark and T. Gray is just here. It's just the Ibüümerang signal right over here to the heart, and that's a greeting. That's one of the things that just changes. In life, things change, and if you don't change, some people suffer the consequences of not changing. And so what my recommendation is make that adjustment as well. At the meeting, if you are going to do meetings, my recommendation is after the meeting is over, don't do the huddles. Many of us who we huddle, we get with our teams and we pull chairs together and we huddle and we go over a specific game plan, or we get people started in a little small group. Okay? My suggestion is when the meeting is over, allow the meeting to be over and have someone come up to the front of the room and let them know that if they have questions or the way to get started is they can go right on their mobile phone right now and use the person's link. So whoever the person was who invited them, just text each one of your guests what the link is, and the leader up front will give them instructions on how to go about enrolling. However, if they do have questions, they can go ahead and text message the questions back to the person, and whoever that person was will give them instructions on how the follow-up takes place. What we're saying is that business continues to go on. Our lives will continue to go on, and they have to. Okay? It's just that there may be a couple of more steps of how we do things. At the end of the meeting, specifically when you have major leaders, we have right now our GMA, Edwin Haynes, who's in Atlanta, Georgia. My recommendation to him and to everybody who's over in Atlanta right now, when the meeting is over, we won't have any moments for selfies. We won't have any moments for coming up greeting the speaker. All the greetings need to be done from where the audience is and from where the speaker is. Okay. Now, in certain states, specifically like Texas, there's been a mandate put out that no meetings over the number of 500 people are even permitted. And so any of those meetings that take place, what I want you to do is pay attention to what your local and your particular city or your state or your county, what those rules are, and be cognizant of those rules so that you can put yourself in the best position to eliminate irresponsible acts, okay? To eliminate irresponsible acts. Now, we're all not going to be perfect, and we're all not going to do every single thing the right way every time, but our responsibility is to go out there and do better when we know better. And now we know better. We know that this disease, the corona, it has no preferences whatsoever. We do know, and from examples, that it has effects on others that are much different than younger people. We know that people who are much elderly are having a much rougher time with it. But in terms of you, whether you're a young person or not, just because it has no effect on you, doesn't mean that you won't be associating with people who are elderly. And so what we want to do is make sure that we protect our elderly, protect everyone, and do as much as we can to minimize our risk. If you're going to any public place, make sure that you're keeping as much hand sanitizer with you. And even if you think about it and you're wondering when the last time you wash them again or sanitize them again. And all of these are nothing but changes. And you may say, well, I'm being, this changes the way I live. Well, either change or be changed. That's just what takes place. And so we are prepared to do what we have to do as a company to make sure that we don't put our people in harm's way as well. And saying that, we have a major event that was coming up this week here, our Sapphire Splash, taking place in Los Cabos, Mexico. Obviously, because of the current reasons and many other reasons, including the presidential address yesterday making and declaring this a state of emergency and the possibility of border protection, we are not going to ask people to fly into another country or to somewhere with the risk of not being able to get back home with their loved ones and to protect their children and their families. And so what we've done is we have actually postponed it. Okay, we have postponed that particular event. Now, here's what I want you to know. And we've sent out messages to everyone about the postponement. If you haven't got that message, and if you're just getting it right now, we've either called you, sent you emails, messages. That was one of the tasks that we gave to our team to make sure that they get that done. No one will suffer any fines or penalties or fees or anything like that. Even if you've read it specifically by Ibüümerang, we will not be assigning any penalties for absence or whatever it is because we won't be there. We're just going to be postponing this. We don't know how long this situation will last. We don't. We don't know if this is a 1 month or if this is going to be a 60-day deal. We have no idea. All right. What we do know is what we can control. And that's what we're going to be doing, is putting ourselves in a position so that we can lead. But here's one thing that I do want to share with you in terms of part of our responsibility. I remember May of last year. May of last year, we were in Cancun, Mexico. And it was the Ibüümerang experience, the first one that we've ever had. I want to share this with you because I want to talk to you about change. My life changed at the Ibüümerang experience. And out of that became a major responsibility that I want you to know that I'm hoping that you join me in that responsibility and continue carrying it on. And some of you, and most of you, have actually done it without even knowing it. Prior to the Ibüümerang experience, I was not the biggest fan of network marketing mixed with travel. I don't want to get into a lot of those reasons, but I just wasn't. I wasn't the biggest fan of it. And that event, that was a 3-night, 4-day event. And I remember on the third night, whereas we had our celebration, it was our departing farewell party. And at that time, Ibüümerang was just 3 months old, and we had maybe about 600 or 700 people who were there. And prior to that, I used to look at the people in the travel industry and wondering, why are these people so excited about travel? Okay. I love the technology that came along with Ibüümerang, and that's what I was really attracted to. No one had ever done that. I wasn't attracted to travel. On that night, I stood up on the stage and I apologized to every single person who was there because of my ignorance of what contribution that the experiences or the travel industry and network marketing has made to so many people. The reason why was because after 3 nights of being there in 4 days, I never saw one frown on a person's face. Everywhere we went, there was a smile on people's faces. There was no stress at that event. There was no discontent at that event. It was only fun, laughter, smiles, and memories. And still to this day, when we play back the tape, everybody has this associative memory of a very good time that they had, and they can remember where they were or what happened and all of those things. And it was one event. At that time, I had been in the network marketing industry for 29 years, and I can tell you, it was the best event that I had ever attended. Best event that I had ever attended. I made up in my mind at that event that this is what it's really all about. And I had no idea how much joy that the travel industry and network marketing could bring to people. And so why do I tell you that? Because with every single challenge, we have a major opportunity. When there's a challenge, somebody brings solutions, and whoever brings solutions become that champion. This is not necessarily about who's going to make the most money and who's going to solve the problem from a monetary standpoint, but from a responsibility standpoint. Here's what we have a responsibility in doing. Anytime there's a challenge, you've got categories of responsibility, and some people try to claim every category of responsibility, and you're sometimes going to be very ineffective. What I like to do is pick out the sweet spots. What can we do? How can we make the biggest impact? Number one, here's the thing that we do. What we do and what we've been doing for 1 year as we celebrated our birthday 2 days ago is Ibüümerang. You know what we do? We bring a smile to people's faces. We bring laughter. We bring memories. What we offer to people in the form of that boomerang are things and experiences that they're going to have. And 20, 30, 40, 50 years later, they're going to be sharing them with friends. They're going to be sharing them with their families. They're going to be sharing them with their children and grandchildren in the form of photo albums and memories and stories that they're going to tell. Do you know that the single boomerang that you sent out has actually contributed to some of those memories? Sometimes we don't look at it that way. Our goal as Ibüümerang is not to go out and find the cure to coronavirus. That's not our skill set. Our goal is not to go do all of the funding for it. Our goal is not to put the more hospital beds or more hand sanitation out. That's not our goal, and that's not our job. That's what a lot of other people's roles and responsibilities are. But what we can do is that we can lessen the blow of this doom and gloom and the sky is falling. We can bring that happiness. We can bring that cheer. We can bring that fun. I'm so proud of T. Gray and Mark Kithcart because every Saturday morning, 2 high-level executives come here and bring the fun. And whether you've learned something or whether you haven't, I can tell you that you've gotten your money's worth or your time's worth just by listening to them, because that's who we are. That's what we do. I look at comedians, and when there's major disasters, you know what they do? They don't change from being a comedian. People need laughter, and that's what they bring. Some people bring, as I say, bring the finances and the money. That's what they bring, and some of us will do that as well. But our role is to bring a new beginning. Our goal and what our job is to reset the clock, that when this new beginning and this new life starts, it's not bad. It's not all bad. Right? And we're going to bring more memories and more memories and more memories and more memories. Many people right now are practicing social distancing, which is a good thing. And we're practicing the elimination of being in large crowds. Now, you say, well, HB, we market travel. The travel industry is going to be majorly affected. Look at what's going on in cruise lines and airlines, and will people want to buy our package? You have no clue. Of course they will. Not only will they buy them, we're still projecting right now that this year is going to be record numbers for us. Now, will you have some people who maybe their head is buried into CNN or Fox News or MSNBC or the news channels, and lock themselves up in some cocoon, of course you're going to have that. It happens everywhere. I'll never forget it when it happened with Y2K. But that's what your job is, to be the leader, and you not do that. You go out there and you spread the good news, and I'll tell you what's going to happen, whether it's 30 days from now, whether it's 60 days from now. When people are tired of being locked up and they realize, okay, here's a new way that we just have to live, everybody is going to want to take a vacation from being locked up in the house or wherever it is that they are. And I can tell you right now, okay, that who do you think is going to be the hero? The person who allows the most people to do it at a discount. We sell fun at a discount, and we give a technology away for free so that they can access a discount. Don't ever lose sight as to what it is that you really do. I'll give you a story, and I'll close out with this, and I'll bring these guys back. There were two guys building working at a construction site, and they were actually masons. And brick by brick, they'd actually take their mortar, they'd take a brick, and they'd take their level, and they'd lay a brick, and they'd tap the brick, and they kept doing it over and 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 over again. And one guy asked one of the guys, hey, listen, you know what is it that you do? And the guy said, with a big smile, I'm a bricklayer. That's what I do. Wow, congratulations, you're really good at it. And that was the perspective that he had based off of what he did. And there was another guy who was also on the exact same construction site. And he'd lay his brick with precision, and he'd do it with a big smile, and he'd tap it, make sure everything was perfect. Somebody asked him, what is it that you do? Oh, I build some of the most beautiful architecture that the world will always remember. See, it's not the job of throwing out the boomerang. That's all of us. We hit a button and we send out boomerangs. But what is it that you really do? Okay. Are you just a boomerang slinger? Or do you actually boomerang? Do you spread goodwill? Do you go out there and give away memories? Do you go out there and give away joy? Do you go out there and give away discounts? Do you go out there and help people save money and turn around and use that money for other causes that are better for them? Do you go out there and make the world better? That's what I do. And hopefully that's what you do. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want you to be excited. We've got some things lined up for you. I'm going to come back. This is not my training, but I just wanted to address all of you to make sure that you stay safe, stay excited, stay responsible. And when you see your fellow Iboomerangers, I just want you to greet them with the Iboomerang greeting. And that's just two fingers over here, your boomerangs, right over the heart. Right hand over the heart, and that's the Iboomerang greeting. And so with all the love and with all of the excitement that we have about the future, I salute you. I'm going to bring back our tunicorns, and we're about to turn up, and basic training will begin in a moment.